Say she wanna hit, and I create a hit. Gone on the mothership. Spacey and I dip dabs. Yabba dabba do bad. Eric if I do bad. Later when I needed that help and assistance. Lit on persistence. Define the system. Back like legal missing. Don't ask me no questions. I'm moving my essence. It's sauce and it's excellence.
Skydiving, 3 droplets of acid rain, liquid 4 cyanide. Truth is beer, steer your lane. Gain a property, monopoly, no playing in this game. You so call it, what a shame. Back into a state of focus, tunnel vision, change your frame. Positivity from thought, inner compass, use your soul. Lace them beats with this dope. Every lyric, if you listen close, peep how we compose. Control of your inner dome, rolling this audio close.
Shawty be so lit, hands up on a hit. Say she wanna hit, and I create a hit. Gone on the mothership. Spacey and I dip dabs. Yabba dabba do bad.
All right, fam, we're going to get this party started. H9 to 3. Let's talk about making some sick fucking leg gains. Schleggies.
Shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing, testing, test, testing, testicles, testing. Welcome everyone to episode 893 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular Swolecast. Beardcast, broadcast, gamecast, mancast, pimpcast, and sleevescast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Welcome everyone watching, listening, every which way, this, that, and the other on a Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everyone. This is going to be hard-hitting and straight to the point. I got a dentist appointment today. They got to go in and check on Papa Swole's tackers, and they're in good shape. Don't forget your oral health, fam. Don't forget to brush your teeth. Don't forget to floss. And what's also awesome, if you're not consuming tons of processed sugar and shit, you're not going to fucking have cavities. You're not going to have as many issues. And the high-fat protein game, like I do, you don't get a lot of shit. You don't get a lot of bad corrosive activity on the teeth. So that's good for you. Remember, don't neglect your mouth. That can really fuck up your body. Don't neglect brushing your teeth. So parents, now you can let your kids listen to the Daily Swole because they're learning. They're learning to take care of themselves. They're learning to brush their teeth, eat their veggies, and all that good shit. Welcome everyone to 893. And welcome to all the new podcast listeners. I had a bunch of people jump into the podcast, a bunch of people leaving reviews on iTunes. So thank you for that. Everyone that's new to the podcast, if you're new to watching it live, that's also super cool. Hello, everyone. Hello. It's cool to catch it live, but don't forget, you can also subscribe on Apple Podcasts. You can subscribe on Spotify. You can catch me everywhere, and I highly recommend going and subscribing. You can go to swolenormousx.com and click on podcast in the main menu, and boom, there you go. And then you can choose your app. Eek, I had a filling on my last back tooth. I'm changing my ways. Yeah, change your ways. Change your ways and eat healthy. So we're not gonna be rocking like a massively long episode today. So those of you that are strapped in, you're gonna get the deets, you're gonna get the real deal, and you're gonna get the straight shooting-ish, if that all makes sense. So pinch your nips, strap in, and let's talk about leg gains. So if you have any questions about leg training, now is the time to drop them in the comments below. If you're on Instagram and Facebook, or YouTube, Twitch, wherever you're watching me stream from, you can drop them in the comments. I am going to give you some real shit, some real talk about leg gains. And let's get into the details of it. You get a lot of people that really I guess, push specific programs for legs. Like you need to do low reps or you need to do high reps. You need to do these exercises. You need to do these machines. There are many options. There are many options. And the reason why I wanted to talk specifically about leg gains is because most people have problems building up their legs. If you have problems building up your legs, let me know down below. Let me know down below. I'm sure you do. Most people do. I have developed legs, and I don't have the biggest legs in the world because I don't aspire to have the biggest legs in the world, but I pride myself on being proportionate. You know, my upper and lower body, I train my lower body. I love training legs. It's probably my favorite area to train because most people neglect it. I love training body parts that most people neglect. I love training forearms. I love training calves. I love training legs because most people neglect legs, right? The classic thing, don't skip leg day. Friends don't let friends skip leg day. That end, you know, blah, blah, blah. Don't skip leg day. Never skip leg day. It's a vast majority of your body. It's the base of your pyramid. You need that strong foundation. But also don't buy into the hype. Don't buy into the hype that you need to do all this fancy shit. You really just have to crush them. You really just have to crush them. And to maximize leg gains, you have to hit them hard. And it's hard to say. Everyone's always asking, should I do them once a week? Should I do them twice a week? Really, if you're doing legs properly, and I am just telling you from personal experience, if you are training your legs properly and you want to build size, I don't think anyone should be training legs more than once a week. I don't think you can really train legs more than once a week and see a ton of progress for most people. I really do think that anyone that trains, and a lot of people do legs 2 or 3 times a week, I don't think you're training them hard enough. Now this, really fam, this is not like across the board because everyone's different. Some people never train their calves and they have huge calves, right? I train my calves almost every day, if not every single day, and I train them hard. And that's what gets my fucking calves to grow because naturally they won't grow. They won't grow. I have to absolutely murder them. And I have figured out some of the better exercise to help them fucking grow. So define hard, please. Define hard till you're almost fucking passing out. All right, till you're almost blacking out at the end of your sets. And make sure you have a spotter if you're doing risky exercise like squats and shit like that. Honestly, it's a ton of volume. And when I grew my legs, when I created the most bulk in my legs, you're literally crippled. It literally is fucking hard to walk. It's hard to sit down. You are really causing trauma. Now, I am not also I'm not also that person that's just going to say, oh, just fucking hurt yourself. You got to crush yourself. You have to be in pain to see results. You don't necessarily have to be sore all the time to be seeing progress. Soreness is not the primary or the best measurement of whether or not you're going to see progress. However, I didn't get to where I am right now with my leg development by training them light. I didn't get to where I am right now by training them easy. And I certainly didn't get to where I am right now by training them 3 or 4 times a week. Anyone that's doing that is pretty much doing cardio. You're not doing enough volume. You're not training them hard enough. And I get a lot of people that say, oh, well, I train them hard. Do you really? Do you? Do you do sets of 25 or 30 to failure with some serious weight? Do you do 10 more reps when you feel like you can't do 1 more? Like, are you really training hard enough? It comes down to the proper nutrition, the proper rest, all those things. Everyone's always looking for an easy way out to get a supplement or what should I take? What, creatine, is that going to get me big? Or amino acids, BCAAs, is that going to get me huge? And we get into that 80% nutrition, 20% training bullshit. The reason why people aren't getting results in the gym is because they're not fucking going hard enough. Most people train like pussies. Most people train like little bitches. Most people don't focus on the basics and they don't train hard enough. To maximize leg gains, you're doing all sorts of shit. You're doing heavy weight. You're doing heavy sets of 4 to 6 to 8 reps. You're doing drop sets where you're doing sets of fucking 30 for squats until you can't see straight. When you get to 10 reps and you're like, fuck, I got to do 10 more, and you feel like you can't get up for 1 more rep and you end up doing 10 more. I mean, it's insane shit. I can't even quantify some of the training modalities that I've done for legs. I really can't. because most of it wasn't program related. It wasn't necessarily progressive, like, oh, I did 10 reps this week and 8 reps the next week and 6 reps the next week. And then I went back up to 12. That's not how I trained my legs. I kept on fucking going harder. I mixed it up between heavyweight and higher repetitions, but I did tons of volume. It was always tons of volume. Now, I don't cripple my legs the way I used to, because as you get older, I think it's stupid as hell as you get older to keep on loading up the plates and loading up the plates. When you get into your 30s, 40s, 50s, stop the ego lifting. Men and women, stop the ego lifting. You have to start cutting back, and you have to start working on mobility and recovery, because there is a time limit on those knees, fam, and the back. You can't ignore the mobility. You can't ignore the active recovery. Too many people are just crushing. You're going to be sorry when you can't stand up when you're 70. Trust me. Everyone that I talk to, anyone that's old, they're always limping around because they just kept on going heavy, and eventually snap. So the answer lies in the volume. The answer lies in the effort with every rep and set, and that high intensity and that volume. Volume is sets and reps. Volume. Not doing 3 sets of 10. I'm talking 5 sets of 12, 5 sets of 15, 6 sets of 10. You're doing a lot of volume for each exercise, and you have to work your way up to that. And most people severely undertrain their legs. They are not thinking of their legs as stubborn. When you say your legs are stubborn, or they just can't, I do everything, I can't get them to grow, you're not training hard enough. You're probably not getting the proper sleep and nutrition, but you're straight not training them hard enough. If they're not growing, you're not doing it right. They're not, I mean, that's as simple as you can make it. If you're not growing, you're not getting the results, well, you're not doing it right. Something's missing. And it's usually the intensity. It's usually the intensity and the volume. You're just not training them hard enough. And there isn't really a direct answer. Not everyone's going to get great results by doing super heavy and low weight. Most people will. You'll build strength and size. I don't think you can build amazingly impressive legs without being strong as shit. I've never seen anyone that had massive legs that just did high reps all the time that never went super heavy. You gotta fucking go heavy, but you need to get that shock. You need to get that failure point. You need to hit that. It's amazing. This golf course is like condemned. No one golfs on it. They're selling the property, yet they're fucking weed whacking and mowing all of the fucking time in the same spot. Like nothing grows that fast. I don't know why they're always fucking mowing out there right when I do the fucking show. Fucking ass clowns. I do legs 5 or 6 days. Oh, that disappeared. Okay, so I missed that comment. My legs shake when I'm done training them 2 days later. My metatarsal boots are like concrete. No more maxing up. I still try. Okay, so it's steel-toed boots, metatarsal boots. Interesting. Amen to that. 3 knee surgeries. Well, you know, just because you're going hard doesn't mean you're going to have knee surgery. You still have to balance out the muscles. You have to train. You have to work with mobility. You have to train the muscles properly. You can train hard for years and years and years and do it properly. Most people that train way too hard on their legs or go super heavy don't do yoga. They don't do mobility. They don't do proper recovery. Most people don't. Most people don't do that anyway, let alone the fucking meat sticks that just go in there and like just crush legs all the time. Those are the ones that are going to have fucking problems because they don't do balance work. They don't do stabilization work. They don't do activation work. So today is Tuesday. Most of you are going to be doing legs tomorrow. So apologize for the audio if you hear like the buzzing in the background. That probably won't go away. So, oh well. But overstimulate, under-recover, and they wonder why they can't grow muscle. Well, if you're doing super heavy or you're trying to go hard with legs really more than once a week, twice, 3 times a week, if you're doing it multiple times, you're not really going to be getting a lot of size. You're not going to be getting a ton of growth. You might think you are in the short term, but it's usually inflammation or swelling that hasn't gone down. You don't recover that much in a couple days, especially when you're a natural trainer. If you're taking anabolic steroids, it can help aid recovery. That's why people take them, because they recover faster. And okay, they can get more workouts done in a week. But if you're doing it naturally, your body goes through this damage and this recovery period. Your body is damaged. Your body is fucked up after a leg workout. Your body is fucked up after a training session. And most people aren't facilitating that recovery process. And if you're not facilitating the recovery process, you are going to pay the price. And if you're not getting your leg gains, one, you're probably not eating enough calories, and two, you're not training your legs hard enough. And hard enough does not mean more. It does not mean more often. It means you're not training them hard enough when you are training them. It's very common to get into the, oh, more is better. Let me just train more often. Let me go to the gym more days per week. You're not growing when you're in the gym. You're growing when you're outside of the gym. Now, it's very hard to say, oh, which exercise is best? Well, there is no best exercise, but you're not going to get huge legs more often than not. You're not going to get great development or functionality if you're not doing squats. Back squats, front squats, deadlifts for back and for legs. Super important. Glute activation, heavy hip bridges, heavy glute activation, isolation exercises are fantastic. Lunges are great when done properly and without any pre-existing conditions that would contraindicate doing lunges. It's very important to overload the muscles. It's very important to do pre-fatigue exercises. It's important to do compound basic lifts. It's important to stay away from things like leg extensions and shit that doesn't really serve you functionally and puts pressure on the joints. Like, you don't need things. Leg extensions are not going to get you jacked. If anything, they might cause you more risk than benefit. Most people that do leg extensions really don't feel good in their tendons because it puts a lot of pressure on the patellar tendon. And it's just when you're flattening your muscles and you're flattening your tissue and you're compacting everything onto a seat and around a roller and you're limiting your range of motion, you're limiting free range, it's going to put tension where you probably don't want it. And a lot of people have issues from doing things like leg extension machines, but you're not going to get big from doing leg extensions. If anything, okay, it might be some finishing or for a good pump or lightweight, or if you're doing rehab, there's always people that will react better to those machines than others. There are always those situations where you can apply this better, but it's not going to be the, okay, let me build that foundation. Let me build that base. Let me build the base of my pyramid. Let me really create that foundational mass. Not going to happen from leg extensions. It's like chest. You're not going to build that foundational mass by doing cable crossovers. You're not going to build that foundational mass for your back by doing cable rows. Does that make sense? You're not going to build that absolute thickness. There's a difference. There's a difference in the human physique. There's a difference in strength. There's a difference in just neuromuscular output and coordination and just systemic volume, systemic work capacity. There's a massive difference when the body is doing barbell rows versus a cable row, when the body is doing a cable crossover versus a bench press, when the body is doing a leg extension or a leg press versus a barbell squat. You have more muscles activating. You have all that core musculature activating. You have everything working synergistically over the entire system. Free weight exercises and heavier load exercises are going to stimulate many more muscles than just the ones you're targeting on the surface, than just your glutes and your quads and your hamstrings. It's a whole entire system. And going heavy enough in terms of your intensity and going hard enough and fatiguing enough is usually where people fall short. And this is a very simple episode. I'm not here to preach how many reps. I'm not here to preach how many sets. But it would help you to start writing this stuff down and looking at it and thinking, what am I actually doing? How long am I resting between sets? How much volume am I actually doing? Am I actually doing enough volume? Am I only doing 3 exercises? Am I only doing 12 sets for my workout? Is that enough? For most people, it's not. Once you start getting into training, it's not. Is your range of motion enough? Like, think of all the different factors that come into leg development. Are you getting the full range of motion? Are you activating the right muscles when you're doing a squat? Do you have ankle range of motion? Do you have hip mobility? Do you have thoracic mobility? When you're doing these exercises, are you getting the most out of these exercises when you're actually fucking doing them? A lot of people aren't even getting the results that you should be getting from the squat. So forget how many reps, forget how many sets. You're not getting anything out of 1 rep or the amount that you should be getting because you don't have the proper balance in the joints, because you don't have the proper, I guess, what's the proper word? The dynamic posture. You're not aligned properly. You don't have the range of motion. You're not activating properly. And these are things that are often overlooked because most people aren't aware that they need to look for these things. It depends on what you want to accomplish. Whitney, I do T25 Beachbody DVDs every day, and the DVD has me doing 15 squats 5 days a week. Well, I mean, you're not going to get, I mean, what do you expect when you're doing, what are you trying to do? I mean, T25 or any of those Beachbody, it's not a mass building program. You're not going to get like big developed legs by doing a 25-minute workout. What do you think you're going to get from T25, from a 25-minute little cardio workout? Yeah, 15 squats is nothing. 5 days a week is too much for mass. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Like if you're doing 15 squats 5 days a week, then you're going to adapt to doing 15 squats 5 days a week. You're not going to build a ton of muscle. It's like cardio. That's what that is. So, and that's a great example of understanding what you want to accomplish with your training, and then are you doing the right things to get there? Okay, so it's not bad doing it every day. Well, I would never recommend anyone do that program, but that's just me. I mean, nothing's bad. Is it bad to brush your teeth every day? Is it bad to brush your hair or, clip your toenails once a week? I mean, bad is a relative term. Is it going to hurt you doing 15 squats? 15 squats is nothing. You squat 15 times, not even working out. You get out of the car and you get back in the car. I mean, you're squatting twice. So that's very arbitrary to say it's not bad. It's not going to hurt you. It could. A lot of those programs are a lot of jumping around, a lot of impact for people that shouldn't be doing them. So when you start getting into like, is this good or is this bad? Well, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to do something better than sitting on the couch? Okay. Look, I mean, I don't want to go down the road of this too far, but better than sitting on the couch. A lot of things are better than walking down the street is better than sitting on the couch. So that's not even a good argument. That's not even valid when it comes to a training program. Better than sitting on a couch. Yeah, go for a walk. Walk around your apartment. That's better than sitting on a chair. In terms of exercise, sure, because you're moving, and the other option, you're not moving. So moving or not moving, of course, moving is better than not moving. However, are you spending your time wisely? When you're going to the gym to maximize your leg gains, you could translate this to other body parts too. When you're trying to maximize your gains with your legs, remember, your legs are how you move. Your body has defense mechanisms neurally that doesn't want to cripple the legs. Your body does not want to cripple the legs. Your body wants the legs to thrive. The legs are how you move. The last thing your body wants is to destroy its only method of movement. So it's very hard because you're pumping blood further from the upper body. You're sending all the blood to the lower body. You're causing a lot of strain. You're targeting muscles that are exercised frequently in terms of just functional movement. You're moving around. You have to use your legs. So it's kind of psychologically hard to damage your legs. Your body is designed to protect the legs. That's how you move. That's how you move. That's how your body protects itself. It blocks that kind of damage happening to the legs because that's the only way it can move around. So training the legs takes a lot of volume because they're often stimulated. You're getting up. If you're a human being, you're an adult, female or male, you weigh over 100 pounds easily, right? Most of us watching, listening, you're going to be 130, 140, 50 pounds plus. That is a full-grown human being, and your legs are lifting that. Your legs are lifting 100 pounds all the time. Your body is always resisting, but it's adapted to that. So it's very similar to doing 15 squats every day. Your body is used to, for me, I'm maybe 190, let's say 190 pounds, 200, whatever. I mean, my body's used to that weight. You get used to the weight that you're at. When you're overweight, when you're underweight, your body gets used to it. Your legs need to be stimulated. Your legs need to be shocked. They need to get that variety with high rep, high volume, lower weight, high intensity, but you need to, fucking crush. It's just so hard to build them, but don't downsize or don't underplay the intensity that you need to develop your legs. First-hand experience on the growing process is from Brandon Hightower on Facebook. Went from 14 plates on leg press to 18 in 3 weeks, and I realized that letting my legs rest and making sure I'm putting proper nutrition on the table, I was able to increase. More reps per set also gets your joints and tendons used to the repetitive movement. More reps per set, it depends. I mean, you're dropping the weight. If you're doing more reps per set, you're dropping the weight. You have to. You can't do more weight and more reps. And if you did, then you weren't going heavy enough from the first set in comparison. But increasing the resistance and leg press, just from my personal, I haven't done leg press in years. I avoid the leg press. I never do leg press. I used to a long time ago. I haven't done it in years. I don't miss it at all. I know a lot of people still do it. I don't know why. I don't really see any benefit in it. There's so many better exercises to do from, most people that do leg press that I see just have very, very tight ankles and hips because they're creating that kind of tension in that locked position, and it affects squats. I just don't think, all right, if you're having problems with your squat, if you're listening and you're having problems with your squat, then you have to fix the problems with your squat. Don't avoid squats and do leg press and extensions and stuff because your body gets bothered during a squat. If you have issues squatting, you got to fix your squat. Fix your mobility, fix the squat. Go as light as you have to. Do your yoga, do your stretching, do your mobility, and work on your squat. Everyone should be able to squat. Everyone needs to practice squatting, modified squatting, whatever you need to do, because that's the only way you're getting up and down. That's the only way you're getting off a fucking toilet. It's the only way you're getting out of a car. If you lose the ability to squat, you're fucked in life. You're fucked. So you need to make sure you keep that ability to squat and improve and develop that ability to squat. Very important. And those basic exercises work. Those basic exercises. We're going to have to talk about this more because I have to, we're going to have to follow this up later. But that's what I wanted to come in here and say today. That's what I wanted to really drive home, because a lot of you are doing legs today or tomorrow, hump day, and you need to start pushing it. If you're doing legs, and I get a lot of questions about legs and frequency of training legs and how many days a week. If you're training legs 3 or 4 days a week, it's too much, in my opinion. My expert opinion, but my opinion nonetheless. If your goal is not to get or build muscle and get bigger legs, then maybe that's appropriate. Depends on what your goal is, right? Your training needs to map to the outcome you want. And if you're trying to build legs, ladies, you're trying to get big legs, it's not training glutes 5 days a fucking week. It's crushing it once, maybe twice. We're talking like maybe once every 4 or 5 day cycle, depending on your training split. But you got to murder yourself. You got to murder your legs. Murder. And I'm not telling you to go out and fucking hurt yourself, but I want you to really take a closer look at your leg training. Take a closer look and think about your leg training. And it all comes down to form. It comes down to execution. It comes down to what exercise you're choosing, the volume. There are many different factors. So there's not like one thing, do this, and you'll maximize your leg gains. I just want you to start thinking about the mentality, because I want to start talking about this a little bit more, because legs are a very popular area. I mean, it's a popular area. It's a fucking part of the human body, but it's very popular for people to struggle with. And it takes a long time. It takes fucking years of hard work to build legs. It takes years. I love getting messages from people saying, hey, I'm not seeing results fast enough. I'm struggling. And I'm like, how long are you working out? Like, a month or two? A fucking month or two. I've been lifting for almost 20 years. Like, holy shit. You have so much time and so much work to put in before you can start complaining. So much fucking work. You haven't even begun. A month? I mean, you've pretty much been scratching your balls for a month. You haven't even figured out where the fucking locker room is. Like, it's just so new. It's so fresh. You're not going to see results that quick. Tara, when I do squats or lunges, my knees start to turn in and shake. Is this an issue with weak hips or knees? Well, your knees aren't weak. It's your hips, most likely. It's coming from your ankles, your hips, or both. And usually if your knees are starting to turn in, it's because you have a weak gluteus medius. You have maybe tight adductors. Hamstrings could be tight, but your glutes aren't stabilizing the femur enough. Your glutes aren't stabilizing your thigh enough. And when you do exercise, you can look, I've done posts and stuff about glute activation and I have that a lot in my Swolenormous X site. When you're activating your gluteus medius, when you're activating those lateral stabilizers, for example, in the I don't want to go too technical, but side to side, all right, you're working in the frontal plane. You are creating that stability, you're creating that strength around the hip joint, and the glutes get very shut down because we're sitting down too often and we don't move laterally like a crab. But working your glutes and strengthening your glutes will strengthen your hips and help stabilize your hips. So single leg exercises, stabilization exercises, yoga, that all helps to strengthen and stabilize the hips. But if your ankles are really tight from wearing high heels and sneakers and stuff all the time, that can also create tension around the knee and cause the knees to bend inward because of tight calves and the Achilles tendon and so forth. What are your thoughts on the Stairmaster? The step mill? I don't use a Stairmaster. I'll warm up on like those rotating stairs, and those are called step mills. So I like those. I mean, my thoughts on them in terms of what? I love when everyone asks me, what are your thoughts? It depends on the context of that question. I have many thoughts. I often have thoughts about many things. Jason, after knee surgery, my physical therapist told me to avoid squats. It don't do basic squats, just front and back. Maybe it's time to go back to the basics. I don't do basic squats. Well, it depends on, I don't know. I'm not going to go against what a physical therapist says for your situation, but I mean, to avoid doing squats, to avoid standing up, that's super risky. To not address that, do yoga, practice yoga, get back into that kind of full range doing yoga. Anyone that's doing yoga is going to start working on a lot of these muscles that need to be strengthened. That's why I put so much pressure on practicing yoga and doing yoga, because it works a lot of these kinks out. It works a lot of this alignment, or all these alignment issues out. It works a lot of this stuff out. Is it true that there is an increased release of growth hormone? More so? I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't think serous growth hormone actually increases overall mass. I believe that's one of those myths. That's one of those debunked things. I'm not sure. That doesn't matter, man. Here's the thing. When you start looking at shit like that, oh, if I do legs, it's going to release more. Legs are half your fucking body. It's everything. You need to train everything. Don't worry about that kind of shit. Train them twice a week. You feel a bit stronger. What does that mean? Right? What does that mean? You feel a little bit stronger? And how so? Always be, whenever you have something that, and this is not to say you're wrong. Maybe you are stronger, but maybe you're doing a lot of other things good. Maybe you're resting better. You're eating better. Maybe because you're training more consistently, you're focusing on sleep and all these other things that are helping you get stronger. But anytime you say something like I feel, you have to be like, well, all bets are off, because who knows what that means. Feelings aren't accurate by default. I mean, they don't necessarily lead to the right, doesn't mean that you're getting the right results, right? Doesn't mean that, feeling can be very, very tricky. You have to work out your legs. Your body isn't going to let itself get out of whack. Your body will, actually. Your body will let itself get out of whack, and it'll adapt as best it can. So I agree. You should train your legs, but your body will adapt very well and be out of whack very well. Trust me, I've seen it. Your body will easily be out of whack. Easily get out of whack. Your body will adapt to a lot of things. So don't let it get out of whack. Don't let it get out of whack. I want to talk about this more. But I do have the appointment. Make sure that you're crushing your legs. Think of some questions. Drop some questions. Hit me up. DM me. Let's get into this a little bit more. We'll do a little bit more. We'll break into some leg training and some fundamentals. We'll talk more about glute activation. It's about that time to bring some of this info back around. We've been talking a lot about the mind game, talking a lot about the psychology of training and how to be, how you have to really, I guess, plug in psychologically and plug in just fucking get your head straight on, especially for the holidays, and how to stay consistent and how to stay inspired and how to approach your training with that mentality. But let's bring this back into the forefront. So let's talk more We'll continue this tomorrow. We'll continue this tomorrow with glute activation. We'll continue this tomorrow with some more tactical things that you can do. But I want you to start addressing today and think about some of the concepts that I brought up. Check your form, your range of motion. What exercises are you doing? And you can write this down and bring it to the show tomorrow, okay? Sign up for the Daily Swole Club. It's free. I'll notify you when I'm going live. Just send me a message on Facebook and you get that prompt. But check this out. Range of motion. What exercise are you choosing? Is your form perfect? Where are you feeling the exercises? How much weight are you doing? How many sets are you doing? How many reps are you doing? How frequently are you training? The rest periods between the sets. I just listed right there 10 or 12 things that will make a massive difference, especially when you start changing all these different things. And it's very hard to track what is working and what's working best, because most people, when they change something, they don't change one thing. They change 10 things. They change the exercise. They change the gym. They change their rest periods. They change how many sets they're doing. They change their whole schedule. So then you don't know what fucking works because you changed 7 things. How do you know what works best? You got to make subtle changes. Most people don't have the patience to isolate the issues. Is it an exercise selection problem? Is it a rest period problem? A lot of you can drastically improve your output and your results by changing absolutely nothing but by resting less between sets. A lot of you can just fucking go night and day with your training by just decreasing your rest period between sets and changing nothing else. And that's powerful. That's powerful. It just goes to show how each individual variable can make such a massive difference. But we will continue this. Mañana, we're going to get more into leg gains and some more tactical leg approach. Thank you, everyone, for joining me for episode 893 of the Most Muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gaincast, Mancast, Pimpcast, and Sleevescast. In the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Cliffhangers. Make sure you are here for tomorrow. We're going to get a lot deeper into all of this. So take this day and reassess and look at your leg training. Write it all down, all those variables I mentioned and more, all the little things that you're doing, and we will get into this in much more detail this week. Thank you for joining me for episode 893. I'll see you tomorrow for episode 894 of The Sleeves. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce Magoose. Ya boy, Papa Swolio. Out.